And obviously you don't have any problem with ammunition and guns and so forth.
Nope, none.
Okay. Well, you can't offend some people.
I know.
All right, so this is a Browning 50 caliber M2, which means it's an early version. This is a veteran of World War II. I don't know that it was in combat. It was made by Frigidaire Corporation.
Oh, wow.
When the war started for the U.S. in 41, Frigidaire is a good example. They're a huge corporation, and they're making what?
Now,
Refrigerators, freezers, air conditioners, so forth and so on. Literally overnight, they retool and start producing this. And Frigidaire produced lots of other war stuff. But your typical factory, like a Studebaker car factory, is now making aircraft engines.
Right.
So our economy turned around and started making elements of war. So this is a 50 caliber, which represents this particular projectile, which is technically this is the projectile,
Right.
and this is the case. Okay. So you have three pieces to a 50 caliber round. You have the case, you have the projectile, and you have the primer. So I left the primer in here so you can see what it is. Otherwise, they're all demilled and harmless. Okay. The objective here.
Grab that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It's a little
And you
bit
can pass it around so they can all feel the weight of it.
crazy.
I have to keep my eye on it.
Oh yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. That's it.
All right, so what happens is they put 2 tablespoons of powder in the case. The powder is not a special blend, but it is to this particular round. So if you had a 30 caliber round and you took it apart and dumped the powder out, you could physically see the difference in the grains. The objective was to get this down the barrel at 2,700 feet per second.
Right.
Range, mile easily. Now, skip up to today, they have 50 caliber semi-autos and single shot that will shoot 1.5 miles. The old sniper routine. Okay.
DMGs and
So, in order to get this down the barrel, 2,700 feet per second, takes a lot of energy. Here we have 13 rounds. I used to say 14 because I took one out to demonstrate with and somebody caught me. You only have 13 there. Okay. So pretend there's 14. Now at this spot right here, I'm going to pull this past and in 1 second, would you agree that's 1 second?
yep.
That's how many this fires in a second.
It's crazy.
14 of these. Now, you'll appreciate that more fully when I show you how it mechanically functions. To do that, we're going to use standard armorer checking rounds. Now, these are steel, and you'll notice they have holes in them. To distinguish them from the real ammunition. Now they're steel because when they're running through the check of operation, these get torqued a little bit and the brass wouldn't stand up. So hence we have steel checking rounds. The gunner, like out here on the B-17, when he's going to go on the mission, he's going to preload his ammunition box. So, we'd be authentic with black and white photos. Of course, they did have color in World War II. So this is the B-17, and this is set up specifically for the waist gun position. There were turrets, so the engineer gunner stood in the turret, had a little bicycle seat, had pedals to get the turret to turn around. He did not touch the guns directly. The only gunners that touched the guns directly on the B-17 were the waist guns. So hence you have this, okay, the handle. Now, we're going to go inside the aircraft. So inside the airplane, I'm not sure about the glare, what you can see and what you can't, but this is the window, the gunner's window, and over here are trees. And on the floor of the aircraft, you have empty casings and links. Well, this is a staged photograph, but it's great for showing equipment, oxygen line, oxygen mask, and so forth. And this gray area, white, grayish, whatever, is green here. So the gunner handled the gun directly. When he came out to the aircraft before the mission, he would load up his ammunition box, in this case, 1,500 rounds. So his gun, 1,500 rounds. This gunner over here, 1,500 rounds. The turrets typically had 400 rounds. So I want you to remember 14 rounds a second. If you do the reverse math, that's 800 rounds a minute. Now, how much ammo does he have in his box?
About 2 minutes.
1,500. So
Less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
they were
Well,
trained, indoctrinated, they were conditioned to fire in short bursts. So, going back to 1942, this has a ring and bead sight. Later, they had a computerized gun sight where they could put in the wingspan, the speed, and so forth. Anyway, so we're specifically in the early period, 1942. So now, when they're going to check the gun for mechanical operation, they're going to insert this exactly as the gunner would in the airplane. So as you see, the box of ammo here, the chute, flexible chute, and then we have our rounds. Okay, so we're going to bypass all that, and we'll get this closer in a second here. Okay. If I hit you with it, I'm sorry. All right, move that over there, let that. I get stuck. Okay, there we go. We're coming that way. All right. Dun, 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 dun. They won't go. We won't worry about it.
it's stuck.
Thank you. Okay, so what you notice here is the ammunition has been brought into the stop. The double link versus the single link is forward. That way it'll feed into the link chute and not get hung up, hopefully. With the ammunition in this position, he now takes the extractor and places it down. But before we do that, we're going to explain something here about the handle is connected to the bolt. The bolt has the extractor. The way it functions is when he pulls the handle back, we're going to find the bolt being pulled backwards. This pin is what the handle operates. So once you've pulled it back and let go, then it's loaded and cocked and ready to shoot. The handle will stay still. Unlike the .30 caliber, its handle bounces back and forth. So once again, what's our rate of fire? 14 a second. So this is going to do this 14 times in a second. The advancing lever is going to do that 14 times in a second. Okay, so in preparing to load the weapon, he brings the ammunition to this point, connects the extractor, closes the lid. Now, the gun will sit until he takes off. And once he takes off, the pilot's going to say, all right guys, check your guns. And so they'll go to their respective positions, and what the waist gunner's going to do is he's going to grab the handle and he's going to pull it backwards and let it go. Because in that motion he has extracted a round from the link. It has dropped down in the face of the bolt in the T-slot. Stay with me here. You can't see it with the lid closed. So we're going to raise the lid. Now, what's the old expression like the barber guy? Gather around, folks, gather around. So when he, oh, I forgot my tool here. My tool here. Don't lose my tool, very important. All right, so what he does now, with the lid closed, understanding, he's going to grab the handle and pull. some time today. Okay. Now I used to stand here holding this thing back, and then I thought, well, there has to be a better way. All right, so for right now we've stopped it halfway through. I'm impressing you with the fact that when he pulls the handle, he just pulls it back and lets go. So we pulled it back and stopped it so we can look and see what's going on with the round. So I don't know how you want to look in there. If you do, you'll see the bolt, the front of the bolt has a T-slot, and the round is caught in this T-slot just like that. The extractor arm is on top of the round. It's lowered down compared to the feed tray, so that now the round, when the handle goes forward, the round will go into the chamber. From that point on, it is cocked and loaded and ready to fire. But again, this won't fire, it can't make it fire. So at this point, we're going to remove this. The feeding process will continue as long as he holds the trigger down. So, once again, the extractor pulls the round out, drops it down, the advancing lever brings the next one in. Once the round comes in, it can't get out because of these two falls right here. So once the round comes over that little lip, it's stuck. And it's stuck up here. All right, so when this is closed, this is on top of the round, and this is on the side of the round, and it's all linked together. I currently have this wired up, because if I let go of it without the wire, the ammunition will run back in the box. So, now we have the firing cycle. Let's complete that. So we're going to pick this up like this. We're going to take this back and let it go. So, right now, the cocking lever, which we don't have because this is a demilled bolt, the cocking lever would be like the pistol on a revolver. So every time the bolt goes forward, it cocks it because another round is in the chamber and ready to go. So the triggers are right here. He does have a safety, unlike the standard 50 caliber. So, being trained to fire in short bursts, what they're literally doing is they're leading their aircraft and whatever target they're shooting at, and they're going da 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 da. They're not going da 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 da. Okay? They're trained to fire in short bursts. So the end result is the gunner's firing. We're going to give it one example, and he's going da 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 da. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. So. He doesn't waste any time looking around. He knows, first of all, minimally he has a bad round. For whatever reason, manufacturing processes, whatever, it didn't go off, so you want to get rid of it. So, again, with the lid closed, he doesn't raise that or anything. All he does is pull this back, and the round kicks out the bottom. Hello? Come on, uh-oh. Now, in the actual firing cycle, the case would kick out. Right. But in this case, we got rid of the whole round. The next round coming in pushes this out of the way. So they always say double link first, like this, because if you put the single link in, then that will allow it to turn sideways. Okay. So we're firing at 800 rounds a minute. The main problem with the gun, it was immensely, how would you say, dependable. So simple in terms of its moving parts. Even though it's a bit intimidating, gunners were basically familiar with all the parts. All they had to worry about in their servicing was taking the end plate off, and from that point on, the barrel, the bolt, the barrel extension, the buffer, all comes out the rear of the gun. So you have an empty air cooling jacket, Okay, what else can we tell you about it? Any questions as we're going along?
Did this get pretty hot up in here?
Okay.
One would think,
Wow.
right?
Rolls the barrel.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by this, but you can't argue with reality. The yell now. That's going to take a few minutes anyway. You want to go watch it and come back? I'll keep going. Okay. 14 rounds a second. How long does one round sit right there? Not very long. All right. The reason they were trained to fire in short bursts is because, yes, this gets hot. I do have a 30 caliber, semi-auto, belt-fed, so it looks just like this, it's just smaller. And I can fire 10 rounds. Again, it's semi-auto, so I'm going bang, 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 bang. And this is really not comfortable to touch. It's only 10 rounds. So, at 800 rounds a minute, if you held them down, let's say for about 10 seconds, then your chances are better of getting your cook off. What that is the round comes in, and you may as well put this on a frying pan.
Yeah.
What happens is the round explodes. The projectile doesn't go anywhere. There's nothing to push it.
Right.
This gets destroyed. This gets destroyed. Okay. Other than that, when they're loading their ammunition out of the box that it's shipped in, they look it all over very carefully. One of the important things is the distance from here to here with the brass. You'll notice one of these is longer, okay? That has to do with how far the projectile is pressed into the case. American manufacturing, very standardized, and occasionally they had a problem. Now the gunner, if he doesn't catch that, what will happen is you've changed the distance from that thumb to that thumb. And this is pretty precise right here. In order for the round to be fed correctly, it doesn't have much tolerance. Okay? So he's going to look. All 1,500 rounds, he's going to look them over to make sure there's no dented cases, to make sure the links are free. He's going to make sure they have primers, because in the machining process sometimes, okay. Now, at the field, boxes of ammunition generally contain 300 rounds. 100 rounds weighs 35 pounds. So you get 200 pounds, that's 200 rounds, you get 70 pounds. So, when they get to the field, wherever they're operating, they will open the boxes of ammunition and link them together. So this is a linker.
So you're basically linking five boxes.
I'm sorry?
You're basically linking 5 boxes.
Yeah, to get 1,500 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they did have machines that did this, but not in the field. So, when you have linked ammunition, and you have the other box of linked ammunition, you have a fat end. This is fairly easy. This is fairly easy until it gets to there. So once it's in there, try to pull that round out. You hold the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, what does that in the gun? That is the pressure. So you bring up your next one, and if you want to connect those together, how would you do it? You want to hook that to these. All right, is that hooked together? All right, so how would you hook it together? Put your link in. Put your link in. Put your link in first. You got it? What about this space? You're still not linked together. There you go. Now, okay, you got it.
Small bit.
Now pull this down slowly.
Oh, and that pushes it in.
Yep. So you've just linked together two boxes. So you do that for whatever length of rounds you need. All right. So anybody else want to run the handy dandy M7 linker delinker?
No. Go ahead. You got it good.
That's awesome.
I'm fine.
When was the last time you got to do this?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'll do it again.
There you go. Do it again.
Sierra, thank you so much.
Oh, yes, sir.
All right. Enjoy your day.
Well, considering where I am and who I'm with,
Yeah.
pretty easy.
I don't get it.
So the handle
pretty
goes easy, doesn't it? Yeah, because you have mechanical leverage. Well,
So it's like 6 inches into
that covers the 50 caliber.